出埃及記第16章
Exodus chapter 16.
以色列全會眾從以林起行，在出埃及後第2個月15日，到了以林和西奈中間汛的曠野。
The whole Israelite community set out from Elim and came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had come out of Egypt.
以色列全會眾在曠野向摩西亞倫發怨言。
In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron,
說：巴不得我們早死在埃及地耶和華的手下，那時我們坐在肉鍋旁邊，吃得飽足。你們將我們領出來到這曠野，是要叫這全會眾都餓死啊！
The Israelites said to them, If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. But you have brought us out into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death.
耶和華對摩西說：我要將糧食從天降給你們，百姓可以出去，每天收每天的份，我好試驗他們遵不遵我的法度。
Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions.
到第6天，他們要把所收進來的預備好了，比每天所收的多1倍。
On the 6th day, they are to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on the other days.
摩西亞倫對以色列眾人說：到了晚上，你們要知道是耶和華將你們從埃及地領出來的。
So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, In the evening, you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt.
早晨，你們要看見耶和華的榮耀，因為耶和華聽見你們向他所發的怨言了。我們算什麼？你們竟向我們發怨言呢？
And in the morning, you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against him. Who are we that you should grumble against us?
摩西又說：耶和華晚上必給你們肉吃，早晨必給你們食物得飽，因為你們向耶和華發的怨言，他都聽見了。我們算什麼？你們的怨言不是向我們發的，乃是向耶和華發的。
Moses also said, You will know that it was the Lord when he gives you meat to eat in the evening, and all the bread you want in the morning, because he has heard your grumbling against him. Who are we? You are not grumbling against us, but against the Lord.
摩西對亞倫說：你告訴以色列全會眾說：你們就近耶和華面前，因為他已經聽見你們的怨言了。
Then Moses told Aaron, Say to the entire Israelite community, Come before the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling.
亞倫正對以色列全會眾說話的時候，他們向曠野觀看，不料耶和華的榮光在雲中顯現。
While Aaron was speaking to the whole Israelite community, they looked toward the desert, and there was the glory of the Lord appearing in the cloud.
耶和華曉諭摩西說：
The Lord said to Moses,
我已經聽見以色列人的怨言，你告訴他們說：到黃昏的時候，你們要吃肉，早晨必有食物得飽，你們就知道我是耶和華你們的神。
I have heard the grumbling of the Israelites. Tell them, At twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God.
到了晚上，有鵪鶉飛來，遮滿了營。早晨在營四圍的地上有露水。
That evening, quail came and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp.
露水上升之後，不料野地面上有如白霜的小圓物。
When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor.
以色列人看見，不知道是什麼，就彼此對問說：這是什麼呢？摩西對他們說：這就是耶和華給你們吃的食物。
When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, What is it? For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat.
耶和華所吩咐的是這樣：你們要按着各人的飯量，為帳棚裏的人按着人數收起來， 各拿一俄梅爾。
This is what the Lord has commanded. Everyone is to gather as much as they need. Take an omer for each person you have in your tent.
以色列人就這樣行，有多收的，有少收的。
The Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little.
及至用俄梅爾量一量，多收的也沒有餘，少收的也沒有缺，各人按着自己的飯量收取。
And when they measured it by the omer, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Everyone had gathered just as much as they needed.
摩西對他們說：所收的不許什麼人留到早晨。
And Moses said to them, No one is to keep any of it until morning.
然而他們不聽摩西的話，內中有留到早晨的，就生蟲變臭了。摩西便向他們發怒。
However, some of them paid no attention to Moses. They kept part of it until morning, but it was full of maggots and began to smell. So Moses was angry with them.
他們每日早晨按照各人的飯量收取，日頭一發熱就消化了。
Each morning, everyone gathered as much as they needed, and when the sun grew hot, it melted away.
到第6天，他們收了雙倍的食物，每人2俄梅爾。會眾的官長來告訴摩西。
On the 6th day, they gathered twice as much, 2 omers for each person, and the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses.
摩西對他們說：耶和華這樣說，明天是聖安息日，是向耶和華守的聖安息日。你們要烤的就烤了，要煮的就煮了，所剩下的都留到早晨。
He said to them, This is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is to be a day of Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake, and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until morning.
他們就照摩西的吩咐留到早晨，也不臭，裏頭也沒有蟲子。
So they saved it until morning, as Moses commanded, and it did not sting or get maggots in it.
摩西說：你們今天吃這個吧，因為今天是向耶和華守的安息日，你們在田野必找不着了。
Eat it today, Moses said, because today is a Sabbath to the Lord. You will not find any of it on the ground today.
6天可以收取，第7天乃是安息日，那一天必沒有了。
6 days you are to gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will not be any.
第7天，百姓中有人出去收，什麼也找不着。
Nevertheless, some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather it, but they found none.
耶和華對摩西說：你們不肯守我的誡命和律法，要到幾時呢？
Then the Lord said to Moses, How long will you refuse to keep my command and my instructions?
你們看，耶和華既將安息日賜給你們，所以第6天他賜給你們2天的食物。第7天，各人要住在自己的地方，不許什麼人出去。
Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. That is why on the 6th day he gives you bread for 2 days. Everyone is to stay where they are on the 7th day. No one is to go out.
於是百姓第7天安息了。
So the people rested on the 7th day.
這食物，以色列家叫嗎哪，樣子像圓鬚子，顏色是白的，滋味如同參蜜的薄餅。
The people of Israel called the bread manna. It was like coriander seed and tasted like wafers made with honey.
摩西說：耶和華所吩咐的是這樣，要將1滿俄梅爾嗎哪留到世世代代，使後人可以看見我當日將你們領出埃及地，在曠野所給你們吃的食物。
Moses said, This is what the Lord has commanded. Take an omer of manna and keep it for the generations to come, so they can see the bread I gave you to eat in the wilderness when I brought you out of Egypt.
摩西對亞倫說：你拿一個罐子，盛1俄梅爾嗎哪，存在耶和華面前，要留到世世代代。
So Moses said to Aaron, Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it. Then place it before the Lord to be kept for the generations to come.
耶和華怎樣吩咐摩西，亞倫就怎樣行，把嗎哪放在法櫃前存留。
As the Lord commanded Moses, Aaron put the manna with the tablets of the covenant law, so that it might be preserved.
以色列人吃嗎哪共40年，直到進了有人居住之地，就是迦南的境界。
The Israelites ate manna 40 years, until they came to a land that was settled. They ate manna until they reached the border of Canaan.
俄梅爾那伊法1/10，
An omer is 1/10 of an ephah.